Welcome to another episode of Stories from the Edge of Life. We have a special guest again today, Karla Lopez. Hi, Karla.
Hi, Parag.
Would you mind introducing yourself to our audience again?
Yes, hi, my name is Karla Lopez. I'm from Los Angeles, California, and I'm 45 years old.
All right. And I'm
Yeah.
Parag Bharadwaj, and I'm a palliative care physician, not too far from Karla. So, Karla, in our previous interview, you really took us to the depth of your experience in terms of, what you went through when you were 32 years of age.
34.
34 years of age. Uh, Life was seemingly perfect, right? And then everything just flipped
Shifted.
upside down. And I was
Yes.
thinking about, summarizing your life story, with the way you bounce back is if life gives you a 180, you flip a 360.
That's right. Yes.
Right? So
Yes.
tell us about what you learned from that experience. So clearly now you've overcome all those hurdles. And again, it wasn't just your physical diagnosis that was a big change. It brought about a big change in your life, but it was your relationships and your profession as well. And you took those punches and then you just bounced back. So tell us a little bit about the lessons you've learned about life, or what kind of a person you were before, and how has that experience changed you, and to be the person that you are today.
Okay. So, the biggest thing that happened when had the cancer diagnosis was that before the diagnosis, I had what I believed were friends, and coworkers and people I would hang out with and, get to know and, have a good relationship with them. Um, Basically, just fall off the face of the planet. Reasons why, I don't know. Maybe some people just don't know what to say or what to do. But you come to realize who your true friends and family members are in under these circumstances, because they they're there for you from the beginning to the end. And for me, Parag, I can count them in one hand. In one hand, my friend Letty, my cousin Jose, my brother Adriel, my sister-in-law Celeste, and my mother.
Yeah.
Those were the people that were
And thanks to all of them for being with you, to support you, and
absolutely,
through
yes.
your journey.
Yes, yes, yes. And also perseverance and just moving forward and accomplishing your goals and your dreams that you have while you're still here in this world. You learn to appreciate the little things. I remember after my whole when I was going through the cancer, everything felt very gloomy. It felt very dark, and then once I began to overcome it, and I got the diagnosis that there's no evidence of disease. You can go on and live your life, how you normally would. Prague, the sky opened up, and everything was so much clearer. You start noticing, the ways that birds fly and they soar, and the trees and the flowers and the plants, all the things that you just take for granted. Your body, it's your temple. You have to take care of it. And I realized that after the whole cancer situation, and being in so much pain, and having to go through all of that, working on yourself, and just being a good person, Parag, and staying humble, and just living your life without without holding any grudges against life or whatever the circumstances are, or holding grudges against the people who were not there. That you learn to just let it go. You learn to let the things that do not matter go, and focus on those that do. That's what I took away from my experience.
I'm taking notes.
No problem. Yes.
So you are a nurse now, which was your dream, right?
Yes, it was my aspiration. Yes.
And you take care of children, you're a
Yeah.
pediatric nurse.
Yes, 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 yes.
How do you think your personal experience has affected your, your role as a nurse and your ability to take care of them?
Okay. So, okay. In our first interview, I said that, I wanted to become a mother, right? The year I got diagnosed. That did not happen. Um, and the cancer took my fertility. I ended up in working in pediatrics, right? And something I thought I would never be interested in. But I ended up there, and I loved it. And so I feel this is my purpose. I'm here. I became a nurse to take care of these kids, and I feel in a way that I'm a little bit better equipped than the average nurse who has not gone through these experiences. Because yes, I had colorectal cancer. I can relate to the kids that have cancer. I also had GI procedures, right? They removed intestines. I had colectomies. I had an ileostomy. I went through all of that. I can also relate to our GI kids, and we have a lot of Crohn's and colitis kids that need to have these surgeries, right? And excuse me. And usually they're teenagers. Can you imagine a teenager getting a diagnosis saying, hey, we got to remove part of your body and you're going to have something there and you're going to be defecating through it. And so kids don't take that very well, and then I feel like when I go in there, and I do, Prague, I go in there and I kind of gauge when it's a good time, and I sit down and I talk to them, and then I ask them how they're feeling about what the doctor just said. And then I begin to tell them, I said, well, I actually had the same procedure the doctor, wants to do to you. And they go from being so like angry and like just not happy to just looking at me, and their eyes open up and they want to know more. And so, I began to tell them, I had my procedure due to different circumstances. I had cancer, but it's, kind of the same thing. I had the same surgery you're going to have. And I said, and look at me, I'm 10 years out. It wasn't easy, but this is something that you have to do. Once you get the surgery, you're no longer going to have that pain and that malnutrition that you are going through now. And so, and then they turn the corner and they're okay with it. And sometimes, they don't have any complications. They get the surgery. It's a three-part surgery. They go, they come, we have a good relationship. Third surgery comes around, goodbye. I don't see them anymore, you know? And so I feel like, I can relate a little bit better to them. And then I can also connect to my cancer patients, even though it's really hard to do because survivor's guilt is a thing, especially when it comes to the pediatric population, because these kids, they're just beginning to live. They don't know what life is at all. And the little ones obviously are afraid, so you try just to make it a very happy and pleasant experience. And then we have the teenagers to where you can open up and be more open, and straight and direct about things. And a lot of these kids, you know they actually have a huge impact on me, for me to see their will to live and the way that they fight. And they kind of remind me of me when it comes to their parents. They don't want to burden their parents. And I don't know, I love working with our oncology kids. And there's one patient in particular that I don't know if she really knew how big of an impact she had on me, in her life. But she really has, Prague, because this young lady never complained. You never heard her complain about anything. She had multiple surgeries and she would be back at the hospital, relapse, relapse, relapse. And her fight to live, and to keep going. She never once stopped going to school. She graduated from high school. She was accepted into college, and she had a plan for her future, but that never came. Her future, she didn't have one. And she taught me a lesson, um, don't complain. You're alive. Like, I'm alive, Krog, and I survived cancer, and I still have, residual stuff, right? That for a very long time had control of my life. It had a control of my life. Um, and it limited me some. But after meeting this young lady and seeing the way that she faced things all the way to the end, totally, totally changed the way that I see life now. And what held me back, I no longer let it hold me back.
Don't you think it's amazing in our profession that often we learn so much from our patients as well?
Oh yeah, yeah,
And from the sound of it, it seemed like this one particular patient did not survive the illness she had,
yeah. She did.
but she
It's
taught
okay with
she
it.
taught yeah.
And she was okay with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I just find people, in through our patients, one thing I've learned is the amount of courage people have, seemingly normal people,
Courage. Yes,
right?
courage.
And how they influence others around them, right?
Absolutely, yes. Yes.
So one thing, Carla, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
okay. I'm
All
okay.
right.
I
One
just get
one
very
thing.
passionate.
No, I understand why, and yeah, I get it to a point. I've never in your shoes. Yeah. The one thing that amazed me in terms of the conversation we've had is, you know how much you shared it was your desire to be a mother.
Oh yes.
And look at the irony of things. You are now a pediatric nurse,
Yes. Taking care
and
of other people's children.
other people's children, and I'll let you make the statement, but it seems like you've so well repurposed your life to say, hey, I now take care of other children, but you consider them to be your own, right?
Yes. 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 Yes.
And how lucky are those kids who get to be cared for by you?
I think I'm the lucky one. I think I'm the lucky one because I get everything from them. I get my baby fix with the little ones, and I get to see the toddlers, do their toddlery things, and the my favorite thing is when I gain their trust, and not only their trust but their parents' trust. They instill their trust in me to care for their child. And so when I go every morning to work, that's my goal. I need to gain the parents' trust first.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a lot of questions to ask you, so let's try to see how much we can get done.
Sure, sure.
Uh, so you were at one point, going through so much. Uh, were you ever afraid of dying?
I was never afraid of dying, and I'm still not afraid of dying. Why? I really don't have an answer. I just never feared death. I feared leaving my mother here in this world, uh, on her own. I just can't. I couldn't leave her. But me afraid of dying, no, never.
Did the thought ever cross your mind as you were going through the treatments or when you were given the
No,
diagnosis?
no, never. I wasn't gonna die. No.
All right,
Yeah, I was determined.
right. And it's interesting because sometimes when people like you that I've met, patients as well, who've gone through certain experiences, when they get exposed to a similar environment, they go through, they have like post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. You actually now work in the same place where you got treated,
Yes,
where you
I
were
do.
diagnosed. So
Yes.
how has that experience been for you?
So I mean, it's for the most part, it's not bad at all. It's not bad at all. I kind of sometimes come across, some of my doctors and the transporters that used to help me to radiation. The only time where I get a little bit PTSD, I guess, is when I walk past the cancer center and I see this very long hallway that I always used to walk. That's when I get the PTSD and all the feelings that I would have walking, to my sessions, they come back. And
Yeah.
but then Carla has to say, yeah, no, stop. That's done and dealt with. Keep going. And
Yeah.
so yeah.
Are you able to share some of those feelings that you went through as you, because it sounds like it was it's very symbolic, right? That long tunnel, and you're probably by yourself, or you feel very
Yeah.
alone,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
So I was married at the time, and my husband had his own business. He could have very well taken the time off to take me Monday through Friday just to drop me off and do my session, and then come pick me up and take me home. However, my brother, who had a whole family and two jobs, took his daytime job to take me to and from. He would, go to my house, pick me up, take me to my hospital, and he would just drop me off and wait for me in the parking lot. And so that walk, to me, it first of all, it felt very, very long. I was in pain. I could barely walk, but I would get these feelings that I couldn't have around my family. I couldn't have, I couldn't, I would always have to push those feelings down because I couldn't let them see me maybe vulnerable or break down. And that was my time. That was my time walking that long walk and just feeling the sense of loneliness because I was alone, even though my brother was out there waiting for me. And just all the thoughts, of the whole not being able to have the kids and my husband not being there for me and me not being able to tell my mother at this point because I didn't want to impose her and with these heavy feelings, having had lost my brother and my father recently. And so then all of that would just, I was able to feel all of that throughout my walk every day. Yeah. That was my moment
You you with yourself.
with, yeah, me with myself. Mhm. And my feelings.
All right. So I think we should conclude our discussion here. I can't tell you how thankful I am for you to have shared your journey with us. It takes a lot of courage,
Thank you for having me, Parag.
right? And we'll
It's,
hope to have you again if that's okay.
sure. Yes, absolutely.
Because there's so many things that we spoke about. And, it's just amazing how you've overcome so many different challenges thrown at you, all at once in a very short time frame when, your life was seemingly perfect.
Yeah. 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 That's life. We
Mm.
walk around this world thinking, oh, it's never going to happen to me. It's never going to happen to me. But it can happen to you. And when it does, you have to be able to cope with it and have the tools to kind of deal with it. And it's not easy. It's not easy.
That's the purpose. I mean, I'm glad you said that because I think that's what we're trying to achieve here, trying to, and have other people derive inspiration from folks like yourself,
Oh, I thank you. Thank you.
right? And so it's been very inspiring, Carla. Thank you for what
Thank
you've
you, Parag.
so courageously gone through and shared with us, and also thanks for all that you do.
Thank you. Thank you for what you do.
So we'll see you again.
I'll see you again, Parag.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Did you like this story? If so, please subscribe to this channel and like and share the video. Want more? Buy the book, Stories from the Edge of Life, available now on Amazon for more stories like this. All proceeds support Palliative Care Network, a nonprofit dedicated to alleviating suffering and improving the quality of life for patients facing end-of-life issues. Consider extending your contribution by donating through the link below. Thank you for your support.